everybody, and welcome to Two Farts in a Can. I'm John Moore. Jason Salter joining me right here. This is episode number 3 as we try to get these things rolling and have fun on it. What's up, dude?
What's up, John Michael Moore?
How you been?
Oh, fair to middling. Been good. A little bit of work, a lot of heat. It's Florida in the summertime, so it's going to be hot as shit, and it's going to rain at 4:30.
How's the grandbaby?
Fantastic. Fantastic. We actually spent all Saturday, Brandy and I did, sitting with Mr. Carter while his parents went to some cooking class or something that Morgan got Jason for his birthday. So it was awesome. It's awesome. He's a good kid and he's fun. So he's at that age now where he's interested in what you're doing. You know, it's not just a big blob sitting on the couch pooping his pants. Yeah. He's got interest now. So it's kind of
what's new? Anything new going on?
No, not really. Like I said, a little bit of work, doing some yard work, smoking my way through a box of cigars, and but that's normal. I did have some. Brandy almost sent me to the doctor the other day because I guess whatever this medication is that I'm taking is causing me to snore. And I've always kind of had snoring problems, but it kind of went away after I quit drinking, and it's kind of creeping itself back up now. So I may have to go see a sleepologist or whatever the fuck they call those people.
You're glad you be happy you don't live near me. I once almost killed a guy for snoring. That's a true story.
You have the room.
I thought I told you about this. I might have. I don't know, but I've never. Have you ever heard me tell you a story about almost killing a guy snoring?
I don't think so.
Okay. This is funny. I thought you and I talked about everything, but maybe not. You may remember this as we get going. You know, remember how I used to work for the company who I shall not name until they pay us money to advertise for them?
I don't think Chuck E. Cheese is going to pony up, but we'll keep waiting.
Dude, Pizza Hut. It wasn't Chuck E. Cheese.
Pizza Hut.
You get them confused because it was a Pizza Hut that had one of those ragtime bands that was made out of animatronics. That's why he's getting it.
Yes. I was terrified of that.
So we used to travel all the time, but we traveled alone, but we would have a convention at this company every 2 years. They had a convention. They did them at great places. They did one in Hawaii. I didn't go to that one. They did one in Florida one year, and I went to that one. It was really cool. We did one in Arizona. It was freaking awesome. And they did them out, but they did one in Atlanta. And I think you might've been living there at the time, but it was one of those deals. The place we were at, does Atlanta have a place that's kind of like the Gaylord here in Texas?
Yeah, the Omni.
Maybe it was the Omni where everything's inside of it. So you had shops and stores. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was that place. And so when you're single with this company, I think today they would let everybody get their own room. Back then we had to share rooms.
Oh, okay.
And so they put me with this guy, and his name was, all I remember, God, this is probably close to 30 years ago. And all I remember is his name was Drew. I can tell you exactly what he looks like. He had this frizzy kind of fro hair, white, skinny dude, and dipped a lot of snuff and all of that. And he was my roommate. And we were in Atlanta. Now, they just paired us up because we were both from Dallas. We weren't friends. We didn't really hang out. That was a place we were going to sleep while we were in Atlanta. And we were both hanging out with our friends doing different things. One night I was a little toasty and I came in, and apparently Drew had tied one on. And when I got into the room, TV was on, porn.
It was not what I had purchased.
No, it was not the one I had purchased. He was sound asleep on his back with a big dip in his mouth. And dude, he was
full on Ray Rawlings.
Huh?
Full on Ray Rawlings.
Yes. No, you're talking about Ray Adams.
Ray Adams, yeah.
Yeah. And so he was sound asleep, but boy, he was snoring so loud. And so I came in and I was getting ready, and I was like, okay, there's no way I'm going to, and we had 2 beds next to each other. And I was like, okay, so there's no way I'm going to fall asleep. This guy's just snoring that loud. And so as I'm trying to get ready, I would go by and I'd go, Drew, and he wouldn't wake up. And so I'd still getting ready because I wasn't ready for bed. And then I'd kind of push him and he wouldn't wake up. And Drew, and he wouldn't wake. I mean, he was full on drunk and passed out and snoring like you can. I hit him with this pillow. He had 2 pillows on his bed. I hit him with the pillow, and he didn't wake up. And I'm like standing there, and I'm half lit anyway. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. There is no way that this guy, I'm not going to sleep like this. And I thought, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll just pinch his nose. And when I pinch his nose,
right.
he'll start open his mouth and he'll start breathing with his mouth. So I pinch his nose and I'm watching the TV. Porn's off. I turned on Sports Center now. So I or maybe it wasn't it. Maybe I had both hands full. I don't remember what I was doing.
That's another way to get him to stop snoring.
Yeah, there you go. So I pinch his nose and I'm looking at the TV and I'm just waiting on him to open his mouth and start breathing. And I'm watching TV and I'm going, and I'm looking down at him and I can feel between my fingers, I can feel his nose going like that. I can feel him trying to, and I'm looking and I'm talking to him and I'm going, open your mouth, man. It's like, dude, open your mouth, dude. And he had a big dip in his mouth. And for some reason, he was not going to open his mouth. And it seemed like I did that for close to 15 minutes, but obviously it was probably 45 seconds, right? And I'm sitting there and it's getting more labored. I mean, he is intensely now. I can feel him. And at some point, the alcohol in my brain realized this guy's going to die in between my fingertips. I'm going to kill him. He's not going to breathe. So I let go and I'm like, Jesus. And I just let go. Dude, he breathed in he went, I mean, it was one of those Buddy the Elf burps, only it was a snore. The TV moved a little bit. I mean, the TV moved. I mean, it was like a cartoon.
Ships are coming in from the fog.
And he went right back to snoring. I didn't sleep good that night. There was nothing I could do.
Did you tell him the next morning?
Yes. And he was like, I don't snore. I'm like, freaking, if there would have been cell phones or recording devices in that day and age, you would know how bad you snored. I was pissed off.
Brandy records me when I'm snoring and when I talk in my sleep sometimes too.
Kathy does that too. I'll get those every once. I did it to Kathy too. One time she was sick. You know, when you're sick, that's when you snore anyway.
Yeah.
But, we've always heard, what was the old Western things they used to do? And they would say, he once killed a man for snoring. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's where I once almost killed a man for snoring. Going into that. So
that's hilarious.
Nothing new here for me either. So, I mean,
well, you did a Ranger game. You've been doing some Ranger games.
Rangers kind of suck.
Yeah.
Have you been following the whole Texas Tech saga with their quarterback? And
no.
Okay, well then it ain't worth it to you. So you don't follow college football, really, do you?
I don't. Like, I watch the Longhorns because I like Arch Manning. And it feels like I should. So I'll watch them on Saturday and that type of stuff. But outside of that, unless it's the national championship game.
Yeah. Well, football's your sport though, so that's why you would watch college. Like I don't get into basketball unless it's and I don't even get into it really.
Did you watch the Knicks the other night?
Do what?
Did you watch the Knicks the other night?
No,
come back 29 points down. It was insane.
Did you watch it?
I watched the highlight of it. So I mean, they did it all in less than 4 or 5 minutes. They came back, like they sunk the last one with 1.2 seconds left on the clock. Yeah,
there was a Golden Girls marathon on, and I was about 6 episodes into that thing. Marge was.
I understand.
She was off the rails, dude.
Once you're in that rhythm, you got to stay with it.
Hey, Cake Boss was taping on the other show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a full night. I mean, there was stuff that I was going to watch. So, okay, let's do some stupid stuff. So I wanted to ask this. So
the rest of this has been so intelligent.
Exactly. Exactly. So What is a song that you secretly love, but you would never admit, but you're about to admit?
Muskrat Love, Captain and Tennille, 1976.
That's understandable. We were kids when that came on.
Yeah, but it's so freaking weird. But it, for some reason, it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling about the past. Because I think they sang it on some. Back in the 70s, they had all of those variety shows. So they'd have Carol Burnett and stuff, and they would have musical guests and whatever. And Captain and Tennille were on some show, and they sang that stupid song. And now for, I don't know, 45 years, I've never been able to get it out of my head.
You know what? When I think of Captain and Tennille and Muskrat Love, you know who I tie that into with one of those variety shows? Shields and Yarnell. Remember them?
I do. They were always stuck inside that box.
No, they were robots. Remember, they would do the robots.
Weren't they like mimes? Wasn't that
Yes.
like their shtick?
That was their shtick. They were mimes. Have you ever seen the videos of the guy that works at SeaWorld?
How fucking boring was TV when we were kids? We were watching shows featuring mimes.
And we were captivated.
Is he pulling a real rope? It looks real.
It looks real. Did she just wind him up and he started moving? And in the background, you got the guy with the skipper hat on playing the piano.
Yeah.
Looks like Muskrat Love. I mean, I remember those variety shows.
Oh, those were fantastic. Donnie and Marie and
yes. Well, Carol Burnett show is a timeless classic.
yeah.
I don't care where you go today. You were a professional comedian. There's funny things we see on TV. There was no one better than Tim Conway in what he did to destroy people on that show and the way he was in interviews. He's just one of the most him and
Harvey
what's
Korman.
his name? Huh?
Harvey Korman.
Harvey Korman in that one, but there's another guy who's the guy that was who just died here recently, who was about 95 years old. He was real funny too. Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart, yeah.
They were hilarious. They were hysterical because they could. Will Ferrell's pretty good at it now. He can, if you ever see bloopers on the YouTube stuff and all that, and he can do it and break everyone without laughing. Everyone else is dying laughing, and he keeps his straight face, which makes it. That's what Tim Conway did.
Yeah.
Okay, my secret. I'm embarrassed about this one because it doesn't go back to when I was a kid. Even to this day, I don't know why. I dig this song. I liked it when they performed it when they were young. I will catch YouTube videos of them, and now that they're all grown up, but there's a group called Hanson that sings a song called Bop.
Yeah. Bop. Bop, bop,
Bop,
bop,
bop, and I am a sucker for harmonies. I love harmonies. If you can get a group together to harmonize, I'm a sucker for it. And those kids did it when they were little kids, and now they do it now. And you can catch these videos where they'll do an acoustic version of it. And I just I get right into it. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. And nobody with any, there are people now going, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Hanson?
Bop? Are you sure it's you that's not gay and not your son? I mean.
And ladies and gentlemen of the audience, this is why John's not allowed within 100 feet of a school.
Bop.
I thought you were going to say pass the doochie on the left-hand side.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It didn't have the lasting effect on me.
On the left-hand side.
What was that?
What was the name of that group?
I can't remember.
It'll hit me about halfway through this, and I'll shout it out like I got Tourette.
Okay. Another one. Stupid stuff. What is something that you swore you would never do, but you did it anyway?
Horseface.
Huh? Oh.
Horseface.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You yanked that out of your ass?
I did.
Oh my God. You not only did that, you had me
Watching.
telling you, no.
The best part was you watching, all disgusted.
Oh. Okay, for those that don't know, when Jayson was about 19 years old, he was a whore.
What?
Yes. Look, I would have been had I been able to score women. I just didn't have the game. I
made up for it.
I would have nailed everything. There were these girls. I don't even know where we knew them from. They didn't work at Cheddar's.
I'll tell you how we met them, and that's even better.
Okay, tell me.
So me and the late, great Steve Duck, God rest his soul, Steve was the same as me. So that's what we did. You know, we just went out looking for girls all the time. We were at Tom Thumb to steal firewood because we were going to make a fire at our apartment. Like we were going to build a little fire outside.
Let me guess. And there was one of those horse and buggy carriages outside for those rides, and she was the horse.
She was tied up at the cart stable. But her and her friend, and you'll remember more of this as I get into it. So her and her friend just happened to be there. Yeah, the blonde. I don't remember her name, but they both happened to be there. I don't remember
any of their names.
No. And so Steve goes, it was always a bet. Like he'd go, I bet you can't pull that. I bet you can't do that. So he looks at me and he goes, no way you can do this. I'm like, sure I can. And we did. Made a conversation with them. Long story short, they wound up back at the apartment.
And that's when we all lived together.
Yeah, me, you, and Steve all lived together. And so we all met there. We all did our thing. Steve wound up dating that other girl. Do you remember the big stink at Cheddar's when he had the hickey on his neck? That's her.
Yes.
That's the girl.
No, that story in itself, because remember, he was dating someone else that might be listening. We're not going to say it.
Right.
And she had no clue that Steve was doing this on the side. And that girl gave him that hickey.
Yeah.
And I remember he thought the way to fix it was to take a hairbrush and do this to it. He kept doing that.
I told him that.
What I remember, though,
hairbrush.
Well, remember the first thing they did this was before we had the apartment.
Yeah.
We stayed at my grandmother's house.
Oh, yeah.
That's what made us decide to get the apartment.
Yeah.
My grandmother went to live with my dad and for like 2 months up in Colorado and asked us to house sit. And we were just graduated high school. And so we were like, okay, well, we drank and smoked and did everything in the world over there because we still weren't old enough to drink.
Right.
And so I remember those girls came over there and played the worst game of strip poker we have ever played in our lives with two of the. I'm sorry, yeah. I'm a nice guy, but oh God.
I think I won the contest.
Well, and then they came to our apartment, and you said, well, they came over because the one that was dating Steve was coming over.
Yeah.
So the other was coming with her, and you looked me directly in the face before they got there and said, "Do not let me." And
whatever
I said,
you do.
Dude, I can't believe you need me to tell you not to do that, but no worries, I will. And let me, guys, I'm going to break a story to you. This is hysterical. He said, I'm serious, no matter what, John, no. And I said, don't worry, absolutely nothing. They walked in the house, they walked in the apartment, and he looked over at me and went, never mind.
Change of plans.
Yeah, and I went, no. You go, no, never mind. And I went, no, dude, no. And I walked back to that room and walked back out, and you had it right there in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
Horse face.
It's convenient. But I'll never forget the look of disgust when you came in the room.
Yeah.
Just standing there. So disappointed in me.
Yeah. There was disappointment for sure. You had no willpower, and I had no game.
Absolutely not.
I couldn't even score a horse face. So mine's way less intriguing as that.
So what's some stupid stuff that you've done? Something you swore you'd never do.
Kathy and I got tatted up.
When you joined the biker gang?
We joined a biker gang. We're part of the biker. We wear leather and all that. I don't like motorcycles, so we have a Schwinn, but it's one of those with the back seat that she sits up on.
Right.
And I pedal real hard, and we ride like 2 blocks.
2 blocks?
Yeah, but we wear
Are
leather.
you sitting in that basket?
But we wear leather, and we wear the bandana.
Yeah.
And I never trim up my beard that day. I always make it look raggedy.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course. And I'm
assless
tough.
chaps.
I really screw with people walking their dogs because that's what biker gangs do.
Let me see the tat.
I don't know if you can see it. So
lean a little further.
Let's see if I
a little further. Little I can kind of see it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is Kathy and I's anniversary. And so what happened was our kid, Allie was the first one. She has a couple of little tattoos. They're not like, I don't like the big sleeves and all that. Probably because I can't pull it off because I don't have cannons on my arms, but she had one like a Bible verse right here. And then her and my 2 boys wanted a tattoo. She's got one for her and her sister, and she's got it right here on her wrist, like right here. And it's just their initials. And then her and my 2 boys got one, the sun, the stars, and the moon, and they got it on their foot, right at their ankle. And they each share it. One's the star, Ryan's the star, Allie's the moon, Kevin's the sun, or whatever it is. Whichever one they are.
So you paid attention when they told the story.
Well, I see the tattoos also. I paid for them.
Oh boy.
But they did it. We were leaving Illinois to come home, and Ryan and Kevin were not. They were both like Kevin was 17, Ryan was 19 or 8. No, Ryan was 18, Kevin was 17. But they're 18 months apart, so I guess he was 16. So they could get one with us, given permission. But we had to get it notarized, all of that, and show up. And we were on our way back, stopped in St. Louis, and went to this little tattoo parlor, and they did all 3 of them. And so when I saw it that way, Kat and I started talking about it, and we both kind of got intrigued about we could get a little one. And I said, the only one I'd be comfortable with, since we're too far into this now to get divorced, something you don't share.
No, it's never too late.
Yes. But I said, maybe we do something with our marriage date, our anniversary on it. And so we did these couple little designs that we kind of thought. And then when we went for Christmas last year, we went down to Padre Island, and all of them came. The kids came, everybody. We did gifts there, everything. And we said, let's go do it. And we went down there, and we ended up doing them on our forearm. And I love it.
Yeah.
She loves hers. It looks exactly the same. There's another one I've designed. I want another one to put on my shoulder, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And it's a cross made of nails.
Yeah.
And it says ARC on it, and that's for Allie, Ryan, and Kevin. And it says ARC, and then it says Allie, Ryan, and Kevin, and it's really cool. But I don't know. Kat doesn't want me to get any more, and I've actually, But look, you got to keep up appearances. I score all my drugs and everything at the tattoo parlor.
That's right. You just go, can I talk to somebody?
Yep.
You see that?
Are we gonna do being Gen X?
Sure.
Was there any wasn't Brandy gonna ask us something, or?
Oh yeah, she's working on that. She's not prepared for us today.
Okay.
I'll have her prepared. She'll bring the quotes, so we'll have to try to figure out what they are, the words, and we'll try to figure out what they are. Words that Gen Z kids use that we have no idea what it is.
Okay, so that's what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And we haven't done that. So being Gen X, we what is something that we got to talk about? So we always have to do something where the kids don't know, they don't understand it, what we deal with now. Like we're talking about horse face, we're talking about stuff like that. Dude, no social media, no nothing back then.
Thank God.
I mean, nothing.
Can you imagine if there were cell phones and social media when we were kids?
Do you remember the first cell phone you ever saw?
Yeah, it was one of those bricks
Yeah.
back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Who had it?
I I don't remember, but it had a big bag. I think it was David Farrell's mom.
Okay.
And it came with a big bag that she had to carry all the time. It was like the battery weighed 60 pounds.
Right.
And then you had this giant phone. And I don't know how much time you got on it, but it was expensive as hell just to talk on it.
It was a literal car phone that plugged in.
Yeah.
And did that. And then there was one that you could carry around.
Yeah, bag phone.
It had the little antenna on it, and it was kind of a wireless thing. And there weren't as many cell towers. And the first one that I ever saw that had one was Troy Chavez.
Yeah.
And he played on a softball team I was playing on, and he was out in the outfield selling a tractor or something, and he had that thing up to his ear, and it was huge. And it was like, dude, we're in a game here. It's like, I know I'm about to close it. Hang on. He was closing that down.
Freaking Troy.
I still try to remember the first time I ever texted anyone.
Yeah. Remember when you used to have to hit the number 7 like 9 times or whatever to get to the letter you wanted?
Yep.
Oh, that was crazy. I got really good at it though. I could do it 2 fingers. And
that's what we're going to talk about. Our kids didn't know electronics. So we'll talk about electronics that we were the coolest. Your video games today, kids, games today are, I don't even play them because it just looks like a TV show.
Yeah. It's too hard.
Yeah. What we played back then took skill.
That's right. Whether it was Pong or hockey.
Or remember the triangle one I had that had the car racing?
Yeah.
And what you did is you just turned the car and it would go like this and you would dodge the cars that you were passing.
Yep.
We were good at it.
Yeah. Well, remember the little handheld football game?
That was great.
When we were in elementary school.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Larry Caraway, God rest his soul, had one of those. And it was like people were in line all day to play.
Yep.
To play with him.
Well, I remember I got one that Christmas, and you and I would sit around and play that thing, and you'd score touchdowns.
It was just a dash.
Yeah.
You went up or down to keep another dash from hitting you.
Yep. I tell you what, you guys today, if your kids play Madden NFL and they're into, or if you're into it, that's great. But let me tell you what we had. And we used to go over to, what was Sean's name that lived behind you that played football? Huh?
Middleton.
We used to go to Sean Middleton's and play electronic football.
Yeah.
And this was, let me explain what this was. It was this football field that you plugged into the wall, and you had these little guys that were about this tall, and you would put them up and you could line them up. And then when you turned it on, it would shake and your guy would move. And the way he was tackled was with, like, you'd have the yellow team or the blue team. And Sean had all the teams painted up.
Yeah.
And we would play that game. And we were as fascinated with that as you guys today are as fascinated with your video games. Remember that they were fun.
Yeah.
And I always remember that the best running back was the guy that looked like he was a blocker.
Yeah. How's he holding the ball?
And there were no balls. No, you just had to go, that guy has the ball. Nobody passed the ball. And that was the guy that would push the running back. He would push the guy in front of him, and he would split a path like Moses. Yeah. And then he would just go right. And he was the one that would stay straight. Everybody else would start going in circles and going around.
Dancing together.
But we loved it. We'd play that for hours.
Absolutely.
We used to take a piece of paper and fold it up into a triangle.
Yeah.
And play it across the table. We'd play that for hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, guys don't know.
Fun, though. I've talked to Brandy about this several times, that when we were growing up, that we would spend the night down at the creek and, we'd fish and we'd stay out there all night. And she was like, so you guys were doing that when you were in high school? I was like, no, we were in elementary school.
Yeah, we were 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, we were 10 or 11 years old, going all night long.
Yep. We would go dig up grub worms.
Yeah.
And we would go down we'd go before it was light, and we would come home at dark. And we would be down at the creek.
You and Corky Naramore.
We'd go up and down that creek.
Yeah.
and we would catch fish after fish after. You know, it reminds me, I had a kid show up on my porch the other day, Jay. You'd have loved it. It was literally 4 days ago. My doorbell rings. I walk out, and these two boys are sitting. They're wearing all black, and they're young. They're about 12. And I noticed laying out on the sidewalk were two fishing posts, and a lot of kids fish that little creek down the side of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened the door and I go, "What's up?" They said, they're sweating, and they go, "Do you happen to have any water?" And I went, "You guys down there fishing?" And they went, "Yeah." And I go, "Wait." I went and got them two big things. I didn't have water bottles, and I went and got them two big things of ice water, and I brought them out, and they were drinking them. I go, "What'd you catch?" "I caught a bass. You want to see it?" I said, "Show it to me." So we went over there. They had it in a bag. And I'm like, "You gonna fry that thing up?" I mean, it was just dead. I just probably show it off like we used to do.
Yeah.
And they go, "I don't know yet." I go, how many did you catch?" And the other guy the little black kid pulled out his phone. He showed me all these photos. And I said, "Before y'all leave, let's fill these up again." I said, "I'll get you more ice." I filled them up, put it back out. And I said, "I tell you what, guys, when I was your age, I spent every day down at the creek like this." Yeah. And I go, "You go down, and this is great. You go down there and you fish all the time." And I said, "If you ever see that little gray car over here and you're thirsty, come to the door. I'll get you some water. I'll hook you up." But I said, "I love to see you guys outside fishing." Yeah. I said, "It's so much fun." And they were like, "Thank you, thank you." And they walked off. Now they might have been casing the place. I don't know.
That's like feeding a stray dog, man. They're going to be at your house every day.
They haven't come back, but I don't know. But I tell you what, they were fishing, and that made me feel good. Okay, so homework.
All right. Now,
are you a hippie?
Am I a hippie?
Yeah.
No, but Brandy is. You talking about the movie I made you watch?
Yes. Okay, we both did a movie this time, guys. I made him watch a movie. If you don't know what I'm about, let me tell you, and Jayson will confirm this by what he's watched that I've made him watch. So we told you about homework. Homework was going to be, we're going to make each other watch either a documentary, movie, or something you can watch in one sitting. If it's a documentary, it can't be a 4-part series because you're asking him to do a lot that week. He's got to stop down and watch 4 hours of a doc. That's not it. It's either a 1.5-hour documentary or a movie or something like that. Jayson is finding out that I am a true crime nut or a documentary guy. I love stuff that happened in real life.
Yeah.
I like rom-coms. I like comedies. I like love stories, mysteries. Don't get me wrong. I like all movies. But that's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I say that because my son wants to be an actor. He played sports. He wasn't any good. Your son was not very good at sports either. Just wasn't into it. For Ryan, and it has become a blast for my family. We love it. His Super Bowl is the Oscars. And I'm serious. When the Oscars come up, he puts together a game and we all predict who's going to win you ought to play it with us. I'll send it to you.
I'm going to pass.
Huh?
I'm going to pass.
Well,
that means I got to watch all those ridiculous movies.
No, you don't have to. You can guess. We never see them all.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll play then. It's all about bragging rights anyway. There's no money involved or anything. But when we get the list, Ryan waits for the nominations to come out like I watched the NFL draft and you watched the NFL draft. And then they hit. And so Kathy and I had done this before Ryan ever wanted to be an actor. We would try to see the big name movies. We would always try to see the actors that were nominated or whatever. We would end up seeing a lot of them before the Oscars would come out. We never played this game. That was Ryan that got us into that. But we liked those movies. So we'd always try to watch them.
Yeah.
So are you going to go first this time or am I?
You go first. You're already in it.
So you came to me with a movie.
Yeah.
You started hitting movies at me and you realized I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Then you came August Rush was what it was called.
Yeah.
And it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. The ending is the worst ending of any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I know it all worked out at the end. You know how it ended and how it worked out.
Yeah.
But to me, to make it all work out, they've got to be together doing something, talking about something instead of just catching each other's eyes. And then you just assume they realized everything worked out. I don't like that. I need closure. I need to see them hugging each other, whatever.
You don't do good with a hint. You need them to hit you in the face with it.
I do. I need closure. It is why the TV show Mindhunter on Netflix is the guy who created that show is forever. If I ever saw him in public, I might kill him.
I love that show.
And they ended it. And they should have had a third season.
Yeah. Yeah.
BTK was obviously about to happen, and then they just stopped the show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, Deadwood did the same thing. Have you ever watched Deadwood?
I did. Yeah.
But Deadwood came back later and had a movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And they kind
I
of
watched all
closed
of
it up.
Deadwood, and I watched all of Deadwood. Wasn't Timothy Olyphant did not?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I watched it, because I love Justified, and then I watched
Justified, one of the greatest. Yeah, but they came back like 8 years later and made a movie and closed it all out because they kind of did the same thing. They got canceled before they could really top it all off. So that's what I like.
A great series, though. If anybody's if you want to watch a good series, go watch Deadwood.
Yep, that's good.
It doesn't end like you want to do, like John just said, but it's a really great series. Got some big names.
But you'll get your closure because after you watch the series, then you can go watch the movie that ties it all over.
Yeah, it's all based on real stuff.
Yeah,
that's Boot Hill, and I think it was Annie Oakley, and
no, it was Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane. That's it. Yeah, but
Calamity
it's all about
Jane, Wild Bill Hickok.
Yeah.
Deadwood, South Dakota. Okay, the movie's called August Rush. Two things disappointing, the ending I already told you. Another thing is one of the hardest deaths of celebrities that I ever dealt with was the death of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Because no matter what that guy did, it was fantastic. And I'll always have memories of Robin Williams in like Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Or his rants when he would be on the Tonight Show. He's a piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
He is a complete piece of shit. And it disappointed it for me. He was fantastic.
Yeah. He plays the character well.
But he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So the movie's about this kid who he's it's kind of like a boys' home or an orphanage. I don't know. It's kind of set present. It was made in 2007, so it was set basically in 2007.
It's loosely based on The Artful Dodger.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know the pickpocket?
Oliver Twist.
Oliver Twist. It's loosely based on Oliver.
Well,
Twist.
I could tell you it's a lot like Oliver Twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The Artful Dodger was the good stealer. He was the good guy. Oliver Twist was the main character. But
yeah. Okay. So anyway, this kid, he's about 11 years old. He's in this orphanage and he hears music in everything. So if a car drives down the street and the tires are going boom, 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 he hears music. If the wind blows, he doesn't play music at the time. He just hears it. And they would send these people out to like a social worker.
Yeah.
And all of that. And the one sense you get from this kid is he is the most innocent, good child ever. He is just an innocent, good kid. And that kid that plays that part, a lot of y'all know him as he plays this autistic doctor in some TV series. Good
doctor.
I don't watch that show.
I didn't watch it either, but he's very distinctive. You recognize him when you see him.
When you see him, you're running, oh, that's the guy that played the good doctor. Okay, but he's a good actor. He gets very emotional when they're talking about trying to put him in a permanent home, and he feels like what he's hearing through this music is his parents trying to find him.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't really know his story, he just assumes they're trying to find him, and they're going to find him through the music he hears or through the noises. Like he's sitting there, and the guy that's doing it, there's wind chimes outside, and the guy starts whistling while he's writing it, and he is captivated. He goes, "How did you do that?" And he goes, "What?" And he whistled, and then the kid immediately whistles, just like him, and does that. And so he picks up stuff. Well, then he figures the only way he's going to figure this out is he goes to New York City. They're in like New Jersey. He goes to, so if anybody that doesn't know the Northeast, New Jersey's probably a 45-minute train ride. So, I mean, you can get there. It's not like he walked across the country.
Right.
He comes into New York to look for his parents. And he's coming in to find that social worker.
Yep.
And try to help him because he wants to try to find his parents. He ends up falling in with like a bunch of misfits that Robin Williams runs the thing. But he picks up this guitar and starts making noises with it. And before you know it, he's the best guitar player within an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how he does this.
It's a prodigy.
It's just like this prodigy doing that. But and the whole time you're hearing the backstory kind of his parents. And Carrie Russell plays his mother.
Yeah.
And she's like a prodigy herself. She's a Juilliard celloist, and her dad is one of those. It's like a dad who lives through his kids playing sports. He's a helicopter parent.
Yeah.
Kind of controls everything they do. And she is really wants to get out from under his thumb. She goes to long story short, she goes to a party and she meets the dad, who is the lead singer of an Irish band, and he's amazingly talented and sings and all of that. They end up hooking up that night. The next day they're supposed to try to meet again, but dad pulls her away because they're going to go try to do some concert and wherever. And the band's trying to get back to Ireland. It turns out she's pregnant. And then he's really having an issue. The dad wants her to give the baby up, wants all this stuff, and she is ready to be a parent. She doesn't care and all of that. So you go 8 or 9 months later, and then she is sick of his shit. And she gets up and leaves a restaurant and gets hit by a car. She ends up giving birth. When she wakes up, he's there and he tells her that the baby didn't make it. And she goes 10 years thinking her child died. But it turns out he forged paperwork to get the baby adopted. The father has no clue that he's a dad. He doesn't even have a clue. Well, now she's out looking for the baby, which is now this kid. And so that's how it kind of all comes together. It's a good feel-good story at the end, but they ended on a shitty way they ended.
I'm glad you watched it, because Brandy's been trying to get me to watch it for a long time, and I didn't want to, so I just told her I was going to assign it to you, and I'd have the cliff notes.
So now are you going to watch it?
I've already watched it. I'm just kidding.
Oh. I'm like, that is rude.
That's
because
genius.
I kept expecting you to say stuff.
Oh,
Did you like it?
I liked it. She'd been trying to get me to watch it forever. It was one of those things, and so it was a Saturday, and I think it was raining, and she goes, "All right, let's watch this." So I agreed, and I did. I loved it. Got a little teary at the end, and it was a good movie. I liked it.
Okay, what did I assign you?
Well, it wasn't quite as feel good as the one I gave to you, but so John
it is. At the end they captured it.
Yeah, but the story getting up to it is like, holy shit. So John assigned me a movie called Spotlight. And Spotlight, I didn't even know it was a movie. Like you assigned me that, like the Bastards of Baseball. I didn't know that was I didn't know it even existed. So Spotlight, I didn't know it existed, but it's got Michael Keaton in it. And it's got several other actors in it too. Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
He was nominated for an Oscar for that.
For that movie?
Yeah, that movie won like 10 Oscars. It was great. Wow. It won Movie of the Year.
Now we know why I don't watch the Academy Awards, because I didn't even know it was a movie. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It's about a newspaper. Are they in Chicago?
No, this was Boston.
Boston. It's been a week or so since I watched it now. But so they work at a newspaper. I'm assuming it's the Boston Globe.
It is.
And because it's based on a true story. So
it's not based. It is the absolute true story of everyone knows about the pedophile thing that happened in the Catholic Church.
Well, now I don't have to tell it.
No, tell it. It's great. Isn't it crazy?
Oh, it was nuts. So, as you know, some of those big cities, most of them actually, New York, Boston, Chicago, stuff like that, they're very heavily Catholic influenced. There's old Catholic churches there. They've been there since the turn of the century. I mean, it's very, very ingrained into their culture.
It's like Mexico's that way. You go through Mexico and it's
to the point where in some of these cities, Boston being one of them, they're almost like an alternative government. Like they kind of make their own decisions, and they're kind of isolated by themselves in a silos and kind of have their own rules and that type of stuff. But it's the church, so nobody thinks that much about it. Well, everybody, of course, goes to church. They grew up in the church generation after generation after generation. Well, inside the Boston Globe, Michael Keaton has a group of, is it like 3 or 4 people?
Yeah, they're an investigative team.
An investigative team. Like, like when we were kids and they would do like investigative Channel 5, and they'd go out and try to look at the school that was serving rotten food or something. But that's kind of what this is. So their group was called Spotlight, and so but they would only take things that were very serious and very intricate. Like they wanted to spend time. Sometimes it would take them a year
Right. It was
to
a long
investigate this stuff.
process.
Yeah, it wasn't like
They might take 3 months vetting out a story
yeah,
before,
because
and
when it
then they
came,
would turn it. Then they would get into investigating it.
yeah, they wanted to make sure it was true. They didn't want to jump out there and chase all this stuff down and get everybody
Right.
wound up if it wasn't right. So I can respect that.
Sure.
So they spent all this time getting into it. Well, they got a tip that there had been some boys abused in the Catholic Church. This particular priest, and as they go through this investigation process, they find out that not only did the police know about it, but they turned a blind eye. And this goes on and on. Well, they wound up with one priest, then it was like 10, then it was 20. It turned out to be, I think, almost 100. Like, I think it was 99 something priests
93
that had been molesting these boys all of this time. And nobody knew it. And that's, I don't know if anybody else remembers. I don't remember the exact time frame, but I remember when it came out, that's when the stories broke. Like, it was always rumor, that little boys were
This
being
was
touched
that big
and
thing
stuff.
that this was
But
when the whole thing.
yeah, this blew the lid off of everything. Like,
Well, there was
church
an
got sued and
was he the archbishop or whatever,
Yeah.
or he was
yeah,
the
he was the archbishop or
what do they
whatever
call
for
it?
Chicago.
Cardinal
Yeah, like Timothy Dolan there in New York. So he was the cardinal.
law.
Yep. But everybody below him, and really it turned out to be worldwide, that this was kind of a accepted thing in the Catholic Church, that, these altar boys and stuff were being molested.
Well, they would prey on these families where divorces were happening,
yeah.
or they'd lose a dad, and
Yeah, they were talking about, and you like, I'm Christian. I'm not a big church goer. You go to church a lot. We understand, we appreciate the church, but in towns like that, they talk about it like, there was a line in there where this one guy said, the cardinal showed up at my house and it was like God had walked through the front door.
Yep.
Like, nobody was going to believe anything I said, because that guy was so well respected in the community and so revered that it didn't matter who I said anything to. So a lot of them just stuffed it way down because they weren't going to be believed, and they'd be ridiculed and ostracized and all this stuff. And this is the story about them pulling all this out and pulling it together and really collapsing that component of the Catholic Church. But super cool, super cool. I'm glad that I watched it, because I knew some of the story, but I didn't know how the whole thing got blown out. It was really cool. I appreciated it. And I'm glad they won the Academy Award. They should have. It was fantastic.
Well, those guys won a Pulitzer, I think, for doing that story. And let's be clear. This all started when he was Jewish. He was a new editor for the Boston Globe, came in and took over. And it wasn't that these guys didn't want to investigate the church. It started with Father Gagan. He was this first priest that had got caught molesting like 6 or 7 kids or whatever. And somebody wrote an opinion piece about it. And he said, if we followed up, it seems that there were implications here that maybe this cardinal knew. And they were like, yeah, we followed up. And they thought they didn't realize the church was not only were they covering this up, they would keep these out of public courtrooms.
Yeah.
They would settle these cases on the side, and they had this little cottage industry going.
Yeah.
Go watch it. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, it was good. And it's all real. And that's what really kind of blows your mind is, listen to that one lawyer go, yeah, we settled it. We went and talked to the cardinal and that was it.
Yeah.
You didn't pursue it. You didn't press charges. Didn't go to court. No.
So
these boys just got raped, and that was okay with everybody, I suppose. I mean, it's just really, really messed up. It really helps you understand there's some dark people out there. There's some really messed up people, and for the most part, most of the people we know, we kind of live a sheltered existence.
Yeah,
we hear about that stuff, and you go, man, that's terrible, but that shit's really happening on large scale. And so it was. It's always good to see the bad guy get what's coming to him, and they did.
Yeah, and that they Cardinal Law ended up going to the Vatican and working. They kind of pulled him out of there, and then that Gagan ended up in prison. He ended up dying in prison. Somebody killed him in prison. I think if you go look it up, but it turned out. I mean, there was this the lawyer that took the case on. Everyone thought he was nuts. It was played by Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I love him and everything he's in.
He was great, and he was like, I've never been married. He was Armenian. He was in the movie. He was Armenian, and he was like, "This is my life's work," and he was like, "This is what I do." And he was reluctant to talk about it with anybody either until he realized, until they finally hinted to him, "Hey, this is Spotlight." He goes, "Spotlight's on this." Remember when he said that? And then all of a sudden he started to cooperate a little. Because he knew for his case, the only way to do it was through the media. And then it turned out the Boston Globe had ignored
the story.
And by accident, it was totally by accident. They didn't mean to. They just kind of, you hear things and you kind of semi brush them aside and do that. Right. And then they were like looking back and kicking themselves going, I cannot believe. And my hat goes off to the Boston Globe in this movie because they were reluctant to do this. They didn't think they really wanted. And as it kept going, they kept going, let's keep digging. I mean, this is a story like you're never going to hear. They didn't try to, okay, well, we got to bury this.
Yeah. I remember I can't think of his name. He's a great character actor. He was in Mad Men and all that type of stuff. The guy that runs the Boston Globe, I guess that's the editor, the white-haired guy.
Yes.
Yeah. If you ever saw Mad Men, he's in Mad Men.
Yeah. He played John Hamm's
boss. Yeah.
Boss. Yeah.
Yeah. Good actor. But yeah, great movie. Great movie. Good watch.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to get another homework assignment. We'll get that later, guys. If y'all haven't seen it, go see it. Leave your comments. Yeah. All right. Do we have any fun? You know what? Let's talk about Duncanville stories. Right. Who did you ever take on a date? You ever have any fun ones or good ones?
I never took anybody on a date. I dated quite a bit. And the dates were great. I mean, I loved high school.
Where was your date place?
It was whatever I could afford.
So you parked.
Basically. Yeah.
Made a sandwich.
Yeah. Most of the time I only had $5 or $10, and so we were, we might see a movie and, we might get popcorn if it was a good night. But that was kind of it. But I was thinking about, because I saw the rundown of the show and I was like, oh man, what's some good Duncanville stuff that I remember? And there was a young lady that we went to school with.
Not as young anymore.
Not as young anymore. We're all the same age. But I used to fondle her boobies in biology class. Yeah. During film day.
I did it in math class.
Was it what period? I wonder if it was the same girl.
I don't know what period it was. I can't remember back. Probably about freshman year.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was the blonde biology teacher, the younger girl?
Oh, I didn't have her. I had her, but I didn't have it with you.
Yeah, it was her class. And this girl was my hey, you had the little labs in there, the two top tables. And she was my lab buddy. And we had known each other for years. But it was weird because this would go on all of class, like during the movie, the whole film, whatever it was. And then we'd get up and leave and never talked about it. Not once.
That wasn't the same with us. We would just walk up and honker. Oh, no. Today we would be charged for sexual assault. And a lot of us did it.
Yeah. And we just admitted it.
I did the ultimate. Well, I'm not saying who it is.
No.
But I will tell you this. I did the worst offense you could do, and I drag bunted her.
Tell me about drag bunting. I think I know what it is, but I'm not 100% sure.
So drag bunting is when you fart and you think you're leaving it at your chair back at your desk. But I remember Corky sat behind me. Yeah. No, it wasn't Corky. I think it might have been Foot. And I decided that we were having to get up and get paperwork that we had just gotten graded. And I figured I felt one coming, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to fart on his desk. And I'm going to go get my paperwork. So I stood up and farted, but what I didn't realize is I drag bunted it all the way to the front. So I go up to the front, grab my paperwork, and when I turned around, everyone in that aisle was like, "Oh God!" And I had smoke showed them, dude.
Just wrecked havoc all the way down the end.
Oh my gosh. That was when I ate the worst foods in the world, so it was bad.
I got a good fart story for you. So, I mean, what a good way to wrap our show up to talking about farts.
Yeah.
So I may have told you this story, but I was in Kohl's. I'll never forget it. This was probably 15 years ago. And I was in Kohl's. I was by myself. And so if you've ever been in a Kohl's, and you go to the men's section. When you walk to the back, that's where all the clearance stuff is, and they're just racks and racks of stuff they're trying to get rid of. So every once in a while I'd go through there, and you find a shirt you can wear to work or something. It's $5 and you don't want to wreck your own shirts while you're working. So I'm sorting through there one day. It was all these racks. And so I had to fart really bad. And so I'm standing in this rack and I look around, make sure there's nobody looking, and I dropped one. It wasn't so much the smell, it was the noise. It went on like the Philly butt horns from Monty Python. Like it was so friggin' loud, and it went on and on. You ever let a fart that's so long that you start laughing in the middle because you can't believe how long it's lasting? Yeah. And it just keeps going and going and going. That's how this was. So I'm just standing there like this, and about the time I get done, I see this. A woman on the row just right on the other side of the clothes rack had been bent over doing something, and she stood up, and we were 2 foot away from each other making eye contact. I had completely shit the cleanup in aisle 6. The look on her face was like, you've got to be kidding me.
So now I'm going to have to go over to this section and shop now.
That's right. So what are you doing later on?
That's bad. All right. Well, I think we can wind this one down.
Rock and roll.
All right, guys. If you got something, let us know. If you got a homework assignment, let us know. We'll watch it. Any shows to do, we need to come up with some more Duncanville stuff, and we'll get on that.
If you have a guess who the girl that we copped a feel on, send us that too.
Yeah, send us that.
I'm curious to see who people think it is.
We'll confirm or deny it. And we'll tell each other when we get off the air. So we'll do that. Guys, always fun. Till next week, we'll see you in the fart can. Is that what we'll do?